To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day. Yeah. Everything you need to know that you never knew, that you need to know. Like our perspective.
Well, hello and welcome to everyone this evening. This is our Friday night roundup, and I'm really excited because today we get to just let loose and just start to, touch base on a lot of the different things that's going on right now. And I know that you know that this has been one heck of a week. We've had a lot of stuff going on. And one of the things that I want to talk about, first of all, is unfortunately, we have someone who's passed away, and he was actually a congressman. So I'm going to start with that first because I don't want to, build anything on top of that. That would be, I want to start with that first. Let's just start there. Okay, so Representative Jim Hagedorn of Minnesota dies at 59 years of age. His wife and family has confirmed his death on Friday at 59. His wife says that it is with a broken heart and shattered spirit and overwhelming sadness that I share my husband, Congressman Jim Hagedorn's, passed away peacefully last night. His wife and former Minnesota Republican chair, that's his wife, Jennifer Carnahan, wrote on social media. Hagedorn, who previously authored the blog Mr. Conservative, was elected to the House in 2018. He represented Minnesota's 1st congressional district. The quote goes on to say that Jim loved our country. He loved representing the people of southern Minnesota, and every moment of every day he lived his dream by serving others. There was no stronger conservative in our state than my husband, and it showed in how he voted, led, and fought for our country, close quote. Hagedorn was diagnosed with 4th stage kidney cancer in 2019, and he received immunotherapy to treat the cancer. It goes on to say, today, 1 year later, I'm happy to say I feel great and continue to perform my job in Congress unimpeded. This is what he said in early 2020. He also says that I have not missed a single vote due to illness, close quote. So it shows that he really did care about his constituents and those who sent him there because, he showed up even in the midst of being ill. As you all know, going through cancer is not something that's an easy feat for somebody, and so he at least was able to continue. So that does show, to what his wife's point was, is that he did love the country. It also goes on to say that, but his office announced in December of 2020 that he underwent surgery to remove the kidney before he said in July 2021 that the cancer had returned. Last month, Hagedorn said that he checked into the Mayo Clinic hospital in Minnesota after a COVID-19 diagnosis, and that he added that he is vaccinated for the virus. Quote, while nothing can accurately prepare you for the unimaginable pain, intense sorrow, suffocating grief, and seemingly never-ending emptiness that engulfs the entire body, soul, and spirit, when your forever love passes away, at least we can smile, knowing Jim is smiling from heaven, encouraging us to keep chasing our dreams, loving unconditionally, and fighting for the country, Carnahan added on her social media post. Former President Donald Trump issued a statement regarding his death, saying that he was a strong and effective legislator for the great people of southern Minnesota, closed quote. But he does go on to add, I campaigned with Jim in 2018 and enjoyed working with him in Congress. May he rest in peace and his family find comfort during this difficult time. He will greatly be missed. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy wrote that the lawmaker was a patriot who will be remembered for his strong Christian faith and his deepened passion for serving others in his joyful spirit So it appears that that's something that is that everybody remembers about him, is that he was a very strong patriot. And so that's obviously something that's a good thing that he has been remembered this way. We also have a few other stories, and I think this one I'm glad we started here, because this is really something that touches everybody, especially in that area. Now, I don't know who would take his place, and I don't know how that works. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if it works where, after something like this happens, then they just move on and allow somebody to vote, or do they slip somebody in, or was there somebody up under him that would have taken that position? You never know. You never know.
Houston, Texas. Reporting live. Say, man. Let me show y'all what Houston be like. See, we drive these big trucks, we drive these big Amazon trucks. But last night, somebody took the tires off of these trucks, these front tires in the back. Cut the stem. They cut the stem on this side, right? You got another one over here. Took the tire off. It's Houston, Texas for you. Yeah. Well, I don't know who did it. I ain't gonna say all that, but yeah, tire gone. Right. Let's go on this side, right? Tire gone. We've been up here for about 2 or 3 hours just waiting to see. Everybody clocked in. We supposed to be driving these trucks. Look at this. Look. I mean, it's not funny, but look. Houston, Texas. So I don't know. I don't. You got 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna walk over here to this truck. Oh Lord, you can already see it going. See? This is crazy. I don't even know how. What type is this? Cut the stem. They cut the stem to get the tire off, so the tire deflates or whatever, so they can take it off. What type? Oh Lord, real. real in Houston, Texas, if you ain't know. Other side. Right? Gone. Bruh. Houston, Texas. Reporting live.
I mean, you can't make that up, right? I mean, I don't know what that is. And I don't know. I mean, tell me what you think about that. Because to me, it just seems like major sabotage. But I don't know. Maybe it's not sabotage. Maybe somebody really did need the tires. I don't get it. But that's exactly what happened. And it is there in Houston, Texas. Now, let's talk about what that could have been. Because as you and I both know, there's been a lot of talk. A lot of things have been coming against Amazon, and specifically. And I do know that Amazon, not only do they have their own trucks and all that good stuff, but they've just recently acquired their brand new, or they have their own containers. So I'm not sure if anybody really understands exactly what that means in shipping and receiving, but that speaks volumes. And they could have easily had somebody very not happy. But I will say this much, my family deals in logistics. And I worked in logistics for a good little minute. And it's not easy to go in and take those tires, right? So not only did they cut the stem to make sure that they were flat when they were able to, so that they could move them, but they had enough time to go throughout their entire yard and pick off those tires. Those are expensive, by the way. Even used, those tires are very, very expensive. So I don't know whether anybody that's watching or that'll be watching in the replay has an idea of how much those tires are. But on a truck that size, they're not cheap at all. At all. So I don't know whether you guys know anything about those types of tires, but let's just look. Let's just look and see exactly how much would it cost to get those kinds of tires. Who knows? They're very expensive. I'm asking for somebody to come in here in a few minutes to share some information with me and let me know exactly how much they cost, but I know they ain't cheap. Those tires are not cheap. But one would say, okay, well, Amazon must be able to afford them. And I want to say if it keeps happening, then that means that somebody is definitely out to sabotage them, which is, it could be part and parcel of the problem. But Houston is no joke, so I guess they decided they didn't want anybody to come through there anymore and do whatever they wanted to do. So with that said, who knows? Let's talk about this very powerful gas pipeline explosion. I do want to look at that. I mean, we've already touched on to, Congressman Hagedorn's death, and then we just got to looking at, of course, the tires. But I do want to take a look at the powerful pipeline explosion that rocked the eastern Ukraine. It seems to me that a lot of this stuff is not necessarily something that an adult would do. Let me explain that. When you consider the way that the president there has conducted himself, he has a little bit more of a sober mind than some of these actions that I'm seeing and some of the rhetoric that's being built up and touted where he is concerned. And so when I think about that, I just think, gee, this seems a little bit too coincidental. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody warns you the sky is falling, and then all of a sudden when the sky starts falling, people are like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? The sky's falling. They warned us, and now guess what? It's falling. Seems a little bit too convenient. So it goes on to say here that a powerful gas pipeline explosion rocks eastern Ukraine. Biden, quote, convinced by intel Putin has decided to invade. This does not sound like an adult. It sounds like someone sat down, either a very old brain sat down and crafted this and set it out there for the people, or it sounds like a very young mind. If this were this president, I cannot see him behaving this way, because he's been in office for a good long time, and I'm not stroking Putin at all. I'm not, rubbing the back of his head or any of that. I'm just saying this does not seem to be like someone who is as calm, cool, and collected as he publicly displays himself would do. But I do want to get into the story, and let's just get into it. It says, powerful gas pipeline explosion rocks eastern Ukraine And Biden is convinced by, quote, intel that Putin has decided to invade. The update was done at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, which is here. Shortly after the images of the gas pipeline explosion was reaching social media, President Biden appeared behind the lectern at the White House an hour late to tell the world that he's convinced that Russian President Vladimir Putin has decided to launch a further invasion in Ukraine, including an assault on its capital in Kiev. Okay, capital Kiev. After weeks of saying that the U.S. wasn't sure if Putin was had made the final decision to launch a widespread invasion, Biden said that assessment had changed, quote, citing significant intelligence capability, closed quote. As of this moment, he says, I'm convinced he's made the decision. We have reason to believe. We have reason to believe that. All right. He reiterated that it could occur in the coming days. We believe that they will target Ukraine's capital, Kiev, a city of 2.8 million innocent people, he said, of Russian forces. All right. But with United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken scheduled to speak with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Thursday, Biden said that there is still time for negotiations to defuse the crisis. Diplomacy is always the best possibility, he says. It's always the best possibility. It's always best to do that. Have some diplomacy. And I'm fumbling over my words because I'm trying not to go off, but I'm going to keep it, as professional as I can. And then I'm going to go off because this is a bunch of crap. It says, meanwhile, the U.S. officials are also convinced that Russia was responsible for the DDoS attack in Ukraine this week. Here is the quote from National Security Council. The U.S. has technical information linking Russian GRU to this week's distributed denial of service attacks in Ukraine. Okay? The known GRU infrastructure has been noted transmitting high volumes of communications to Ukraine-based IP addresses and associated banking-related domains. Additionally, if anyone needs to have any contact with somebody that has something there, anyway, I can't read no more of it because I'm going to tell you why. Do you or do you not remember who they hired as the chief propagandist? They call him the main propagandist. If anybody remembers that,
what actors and actresses do when they have to get in shape really fast for a movie, because I can promise you,
Affairs in U.S. history. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. Thank you. Richard Stengel, the top state media appointee for former Vice President Joe Biden's transition team, has enthusiastically defended the use of propaganda against Americans. He said, quote, "My old job at the State Department was what people used to joke as the chief propagandist," end quote. Stengel said in 2018, quote, "I'm not against propaganda. Every country does it, and they have to do it against their own population, and I don't necessarily think it's all that awful," end quote. Richard Rick Stengel was the longest serving Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy and Public Affairs in U.S. history. At the State Department under President Barack Obama, Stengel boasted that he started the only entity in government, non-classified entity that combated Russian disinformation. That institution was known as the Global Engagement Center, and it amounted to a massive vehicle for advancing U.S. government propaganda around the world. A committed crusader in what he openly describes as a global information war, Stengel has proudly proclaimed his dedication to the careful management of the public's access to information. Stengel outlined his worldview in a book he published this June entitled Information Wars: How We Lost the Global Battle Against Disinformation and What We Can Do About It. Stengel has proposed rethinking the First Amendment that guarantees the freedom of speech and press, and in 2018 he stated, quote, "Having once been almost a First Amendment absolutist, I have really moved my position on it because I just think for practical reasons in society, we have to kind of rethink some of those things," end quote. The Biden transition team's selection of a sensorial info warrior for its top state media position comes as a concerted suppression campaign takes a hold of social media. The wave of online censorship has been overseen by U.S. intelligence agencies, the State Department, and Silicon Valley corporations that maintain multi-billion-dollar contracts with the U.S. government. As the state-backed censorship dragnet expands, independent media outlets increasingly find themselves in the crosshairs. In the past year, social media platforms have purged hundreds of accounts of foreign news publications, journalists, activists, and government officials from countries targeted by the United States for regime change. Stengel's appointment appears to be the clearest signal of a coming escalation by the Biden administration of the censorship and suppression of online media that is seen to threaten U.S. imperatives abroad. Before being appointed as the U.S. Department's chief propagandist in 2013, Richard Stengel was the managing editor of Time magazine. In the Obama administration, Stengel not only created the Global Engagement Center propaganda vehicle, he also boasted that he, quote, led the creation of English for All, a government-wide effort to promote the teaching of English around the world, end quote. After leaving the State Department in 2016, Stengel became a strategic advisor to Snap Incorporated, the company that runs social media apps Snapchat and Bitmoji. Stengel also found time for a fellowship at the Atlantic Council, a think tank closely linked to NATO and the Biden camp, which has received funding from the United States government, Britain, the European Union, and NATO itself, along with a host of Western weapon manufacturers, fossil fuel corporations, Gulf monarchies, and big tech juggernauts. Stengel worked closely with the Atlantic Council's Digital Forensics Research Lab, a dubious organization that has fueled efforts to censor independent media outlets in the name of fighting, quote, disinformation. But Stengel is perhaps most well known as a regular political analyst on MSNBC. In the Donald Trump era on the network, he fueled Russiagate conspiracy theories, portraying the Republican president as a useful idiot of Russia and claiming Trump had a one-sided bromance with Vladimir Putin. Stingel left MSNBC this November to join Biden's presidential transition campaign. He announced that he was tapped to lead the Biden-Harris Agency Review Team for the United States Agency for Global Media. This is Felicia Lockhart, and this has been the Lockhart Perspective.
Okay, so now you see who he is. This is the reason why I do not believe a lot of stuff, because see here, he was the Undersecretary of State for the Public Diplomacy and Public Affairs. He was in office from 2014 to 2016, right? But the deal is that those tentacles run very deep. So who do you think is helping the unimaginable do all the stuff that's going on? And again, this is nothing that is, documented from anybody. I'm just saying that, birds of a feather. And once you've had a relationship with somebody, why would it go away so soon? I mean, he's only been in office a year and a month actually. So why would this guy here, just up and leave for nothing? I mean, he's still around. So that's the reason why I'm saying the stories that we're hearing about some type of, what not going on over here or over there, these things have to be thought through very well. And you would have to say that in order for this to be that president messing with Ukraine, that he would have to be quite juvenile, because that is not something that somebody who has been pretty well composed. I don't get it. It just doesn't fit, especially when I'm not sure how many of you may have read the story, but there was actually a story that came out the other day, and he was basically saying, hey, listen, all we're doing is what we normally do all the time. And again, I'm not saying anybody is perfect. What I'm saying is I don't want to see us drug into some mess because somebody wants to start something. We haven't had any real interactions. One thing, I don't necessarily like Mr. Naranga, Mr. Orange Man, but I don't hate anybody either. And I have to say, we didn't have any confrontation unless it was the confrontation that others wanted him to start with Syria, which of course he saw his base, because I was still a part of, loving him at that time, or at least caring about the cat that I voted for. Well, I didn't appreciate that. And so I think what happened is he saw what happened, or whomever caused this issue saw the big stir that it got, and they figured, well, it's probably not worth losing our support from the base to push this agenda and say that, what, Syria's doing this and this guy's doing that. So they pulled back a little bit. But if you understand where I'm going, we haven't had any big issues with regards to war in a minute. Yeah. And I'm not sure if you know who the Khazarians are, but the Khazarians like to fund both sides of the war, or at least they did back when they were in power. And if you can do a little bit of math with me, you'll know exactly who they are today. But my point is that they love to fund both sides of the war, and they love to have that type of mass confusion going on, because it keeps stuff going. If you can keep a war going, it can fuel a lot of stuff. And that's what I see. So I don't think that the story that we showed earlier with regards to the allegedly saying that they were the ones that went and started, I don't buy it as a taxpayer, and I have a right to say that. As a taxpayer, I don't buy it. I mean, if they're going to go and stick their nose someplace, I'm sure they're going to go do that, but I still just don't buy it. Let's see. What was that about? Yeah, okay, so he started it. What he said, Marcus, was that this gentleman on the screen, is the one who started the rumor about a bromance. You know how they say, this guy really, really admires this other guy. And so, it's nothing, nothing, where they're touching, but they're saying, oh, he really admires him. So they call it a bromance. Well, he is the guy that said that the former president, Mr. Trump, and the President Putin had a bromance. So he is the one who's responsible for starting that. And so that's the reason why I say I do not buy any of it. It is too forced, it's too contrived, and anyone with common sense would say, why would you go to another country and say, hey, somebody's trying to invade you when you've got millions of people flooding across your border? Who in their right mind, operative word or operative phrase, right mind, who would do that? And so I think that's the issue. I think that's my big issue. That's what's bugging me about it, Marcus. And thank you for being here, Marcus Aurelius. I love your name. It's so cute. But that is, that's what's bugging me about that. I just, personally, I just don't buy it. Hey, Amy, how you doing, princess? It's good to see you. So I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. It just does not seem to me to be something that's real. I think that, to constantly push this warning and warning and warning and warning and warning. It's like, really? Really? Yeah, he's the one that started that. So to me, it's just, I don't know. I think that we've got enough stuff in here. I think we need to just start complaining about it. I think we really do. I mean, I have already here where I live. And, I really truly think that a lot of us really should focus on these next coming elections for our own community. Ronnie, when we had him over on the Lockhart Perspective, he made a great point, and that was, hey, if you're going to do anything, then yeah, I think it should be, local if anything's going to change. And I know that Steve Willis was in the chat that day, and he agreed, and I agree too. The only way that any of this is going to change is for you to remember that your state by itself is quote unquote likened unto a country. It isn't a country, but it's likened unto a country in that it has its own government. It has its own, not necessarily bylaws, but it has its own type of constitution, as it were. You know what I'm saying? So it's better for you to worry about your own, city, your own county, your own state, your own districts. Do that and make sure that when you're putting people in, that you're putting good people in, that's going to stand up for what you sent them there for. Right? Yeah. Okay. So it says, I'm retired military. Nothing going on today. Is what I joined to serve and protect. Looking back, was it ever? I have to agree. And you know what? I think that's the reason why our country was smiled on for as long as it was. Because a lot of people really did go into it with the right mindset, Marcus. And I think that when you have people who care about where they are and care about what they do and where they live, it does not matter how intellectual they are. It doesn't matter how learned they are. It doesn't matter if they've got a bevy of degrees or none at all. They're protected, I believe, by our Father in heaven simply because they feel like what they're doing is standing up for something that means something. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's the reason why a lot of people who went in to the military with that mindset are so blessed, because they weren't going in for anything other than love of country. And throughout our history, especially, being that we all, for the most part went to school, and that's what we were taught, especially of a certain age. You know what I mean? Amy and I, we know that, while we were coming up, that's what they taught us. We learned everything about U.S. government. Of course, the stuff the kids don't get today. So we all grew in admiration for the place that we live based on what we learned and based on what we knew then. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And just like I don't think there's anything wrong with being able to see clearly now and to be able to think for yourself, which is what we were taught coming up through school. We had good teachers back in the day. I can think of a great deal of teachers. I told you guys about the man who used to sing, our history teacher used to sing A Long Way to Tipperary when we were, he used to stand up in the middle of the class and sing all of these songs, and we would have to sit there and watch, and we did. But what it did is we were able to see men in school at that time when I was coming up that really loved the country. Of course, you guys know my, family's military family. So of course I grew a love for our country. So I think that people like you, Marcus, are the people that we really say thank you to when we say thank you on days like, Veterans Day and things like that. We say thank you because you went in wanting to protect and wanting to serve. Right now, what bothers most of us is the fact that we see our government is not doing its job to protect our southern border and any other border. And then there are so many other things that are going on that just are absolutely unreal. So this guy here is the purpose and the reason for him doing all the propaganda, right? Like I said, sound like an old brain to me. Didn't sound like nobody young at all. At all. Now we're going to switch reels just a little bit, and we're going to go and we're going to look at what's going on over here. The police close in on protesters blockading Canada's capital. All right, this was updated a couple of hours ago, so let me refresh it to see if anything else has changed. Nope. All right, so this came out a couple of hours ago, and let's just get into it. It doesn't have the video there, but it says police, including some on horseback, pushed into crowds of demonstrators to clear them from the streets of downtown Ottawa on Friday, arresting more than 100 and hauling away vehicles that had been blocking the core of the capital for more than 3 weeks in a protest against the pandemic restrictions. Fearing escalation or violence, Ottawa police had sought to disperse them with fines and threats of possible arrests. But on Friday, hundreds of them moved in despite the frigid temperature and freshly fallen snow, slowly clearing one part of the city. There were more tense moments during the day as some protesters were dragged from their vehicles and others who resisted the police advance were thrown onto the ground and had their hands zip-tied behind their backs. The protesters showed, it says, assaultive behavior, forcing mounted police to move in to create critical space in the late afternoon, according to the police statement. As this happens, one person, it claims here, threw a bicycle at a horse and was arrested for harming the police service animal. Dozens of trucks still occupy the downtown area, though fewer now because several left when the arrest began. Police have also arrested the 3 most prominent organizers, 2 on Thursday and 1 on Friday, saying, quote, "We will run this operation 24 hours a day until the residents and community have their entire city back." Steve Bell, Ottawa's interim police chief, told the reporters. Officers set up 100 roadblocks near the protest site to deny people access and starve them of food and fuel. Police said they had towed 21 vehicles away on Friday. Commenting on the arrest of its leaders, Freedom Convoy 2022, an umbrella group representing the protesters, said, quote, "We will continue to hold the line. We refuse to bow to abuse of power. The world is watching Canada," closed quote. After a night of heavy snow, protesters with shovels erected a chest-high snowbank on Wellington Street outside of Parliament and positioned themselves behind it as they waved Canadian flags and Freedom Convoy posters. The police have been driving the protesters toward Parliament, clearing the territory along the way, but they still have not opened up the area in front of the House of Commons and below the Prime Minister's office. Police are expected to work through the night, a government source said, quote, "If they want to arrest me," this is somebody else that says this, "if they want to arrest me, I'll put my hands out and they can twist tie me up like everybody else. We're going peaceful. We're going peaceful," said Mark, a protester from Nova Scotia who would not give his last name. Okay, show some support, it says here. All right, so there are several people that are, hugging one another, being in support of each other. And yeah, and there's a lot of people who have a lot of opinions about what's going on there. And the only thing that I can say is, you never really know what's what. But what I will tell you is this: anytime somebody is trying to do something, and here's I think what the bane of contention is right now for me, is that as soon as you see something like this, it does give you some hope that there are people out there that that mean well and that are trying to change stuff. Okay, they're trying to change things. That's it gives you that kind of hope. So even when I hear people say, "Oh, this isn't real because of this," or "That's not real because of that," I know that not everybody out there, if that's the case, and this thing may be contrived, again, there are people who have joined them who are standing up because of what they truly believe. I'm not going to say that everybody there. Wow, we just lost 2 people. We had 6, now we got 4. It just jumped immediately. But my point is I'm not going to say that everybody that's there is fake. I'm not saying that, because I know people who've been down there, and they're really good patriotic people. They love their country. And that's my point. Sometimes you get the good and the bad sort of muddled together because of something somebody else is doing. Now, I don't know what happened to them poor people's money. Hey, Marty, how you doing, princess? I don't know why they did what they've done, but they've done a lot of stuff. But these people mean well, okay? They mean well. And here's what you do. What you do is when you intercede for everything to come out well. You intercede for those who went there with the right heart, the right motive, and the right spirit to be healthy and to be well. That's how you intercede, because it's not our job to figure out who's telling the truth, who ain't telling the truth, who took money and who didn't take money, and who faked this and who faked that, because the deal is you're not going to get that many people together like this, especially, like I said, with people that I know that are there. You're not going to get these kind of people like this down there, and all of them are not telling the truth. This is thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people down here. Okay, these are boatloads of people. And so what my point is, you know what? They're standing up, and because of them standing up, some things just might change. Don't knock them because you're not out there doing what they're doing. They're out there doing it. They're the people who've got their feet and boots on the ground, and this is what they're standing up against. They're standing up against this tyranny in the cold. Okay? In the cold. All right? So I don't care how much of it, if anything, would be staged. None of that is my business. What I'm concerned about is the fact that I do know people who are involved, and I do trust that those who are involved are there for the right reasons. That's what I believe. And I believe that at least somebody is standing up, because ain't nobody doing none of that here. Okay? Ain't nobody doing that. Shabbat Shalom. How are you? How are you? How are you? Okay? So it's none of them doing that. None of them. Shabbat Shalom. Well, we had our Shabbat was yesterday. It was. Was it Thursday? Yeah, today's Friday. Yeah, but it's good to see you. How you doing there? It's good to see you. So I just think that, you know what, to be quite honest, it's just time to put all that other stuff to the side and say, for the people who are there, for the people who are there, for the people who are there for the right reasons, protect them. Protect them and keep them in your hands. And, I wish them well, all of them. Because I know Anthony is deeply involved in a lot of this stuff, and he's a good guy, and I trust and believe what he says. And so he sent a lot of information, and it's just, I wish that we had some people doing that here. And it's easy for people in America to sort of throw stones and say, oh, I don't believe that it's real. Oh, this is fake and that's fake. It's easy for that to happen here because none of them is getting up doing nothing. Everybody is sitting behind watching everybody else do it. You see? Watching everybody else do it. So I'm so glad you are. Thank you. So that's that as it relates to the convoy. And then we've already done the story dealing with Mr. Putin and all this other stuff. But hey, what about the one and only popping her head back up to have something to say? I think that they're going to quote unquote resurrect this woman. Because, she's still sort of spunky. She is. She's sort of spunky. And I believe that she's going to have something to say here pretty soon. I really do. Let's see. Oh, wow. Let's see. First of all, I'm going to read this one. And then, this is juicy. This is juicy. Did you know that Facebook flagged an article that was shared about the Durham investigation? Did you know that? I'm going to read this. And then after we do this, we're going to go right into why is she around? How is that?
Mr. President, I was surprised to learn that Facebook recently flagged a news article that I posted on my Facebook pages as quote unquote false information. The article I posted was about new Durham investigation allegations against Hillary Clinton's campaign and its associates. The article clearly cited a federal court filing and a former congressional investigator.
Okay, so this is for information and educational purposes only, and it is no intent to have a copyright infringement against this particular channel. Again, it is just for news. It is coming from MSNBC, and we're dealing specifically with Mr. Grassley, who's talking about big tech and media and how they continue to censor conservatives. Now, I just want to say that at the top of this, he went on to tell us all, as well as those that he's representing or speaking to, I should say, that it was something that he posted that was based on truth, that was the actual documents, and he was disturbed to see that he had received he got flagged. Welcome to our world. But nonetheless, we're going to go ahead again, but with that disclaimer in mind, just letting you know what's going on, okay? So here we go.
With a deep understanding of the Democrats' work to concoct the bogus Russia collusion narrative that divided our nation for years. This wouldn't be an issue today if more journalists did their job of being the police of our society and governmental system and reported on all investigations, not just ones that appeal to certain political parties. What kind of a message does this censorship send to a reporter who does take on the new allegations against the Clinton campaign and its associates, and then it is labeled disinformation? I don't think that's going to encourage more journalists to cover this issue. It's truly mind-blowing that these companies continue to interfere in free expression. Big tech is silencing.
So I'm going to interject again because we have to do that whenever we're doing something, pulling from somebody else's stuff. I have to interject here, as he stated that he doesn't understand how they're able to do this. Well, a lot of these companies hire entities or groups of an organization that's from outside of the United States. And so what they do is they call themselves, they're going to basically like a statistician. You know, if you're watching a football game, you got somebody that keeps up the stats. This particular organization or these organizations actually hire people from outside of the U.S. to go and do all this checking, and then they give that feedback to the company. As opposed to the company doing it, they do it. And so this is the sad part, that it is being allowed. But he stands here, unfortunately, a victim of it, and he has power to get the situation rectified. Whenever I see them standing up at the podium and saying how they feel, it's just venting, and it's just hot air to me, because you're there and you've got the power to stand up and fix it. And oftentimes all they do is complain about it so that we feel like we've got somebody to root for, or we may have somebody in our corner, or that there's just a glimpse of hope. It isn't. So let's just go ahead and finish here.
Everyone they disagree with, and clearly they see no check to their power. The article I cited to in my post was on foxnews.com, a mainstream news organization. Why does Facebook and one of its third-party fact-checkers, partners they are, get to make the decision that this news article is considered false information? That decision should be made by the American people, who should be able to view that content and decide that fact for themselves. It shouldn't be decided by our big tech overlords, who seem to only find fault with content that is conservative or goes against the liberal narrative. These are the same outlets that allowed information relating to the Steele dossier to run wild and very free, yet censored Hunter Biden's news articles during the 2020 election. Now they're doing the bidding for the Clinton camp. Why are they so afraid of reporting that exposes the Russia collusion hoax, silencing or chilling free speech, and the back and forth discussions of ideas is entirely wrong? Increasingly, we see the tag, quote unquote, misinformation or quote unquote disinformation given to content that the liberal mainstream media simply disagrees with or goes against their chosen narrative. Finding and seeking the truth should not be about silencing voices, but allowing robust discourse.
Okay, again, just interjecting here. He's saying everything that you would want him to say, right? Everything he's saying is something that you would want to hear, that just gives you such glee. But I think all of us are slightly, if not more, than anesthetized when it comes to this type of verbiage. I remember for a long time, as he's standing here and he's saying these points, that some time ago, this would have given you a bit of glee. It would have given you a glimpse of hope. But I remember thinking, when I would see, and I had to talk about him the other week, Trey Gowdy would get up and he would make these great dissertations about, how this was this way, or he would really tear into somebody and, ask them all kinds of questions and make them feel a little uncomfortable, and such wonderful stuff that it would be for the camera as he would just get ready to go and just go. And all of this stuff would just be so wonderful, the way that he would carry on. But then nothing would happen. You think that because he was going in like this, that the next day there was going to get this, big bill that he was going to get together, and he and, what is his name? Was it Chaff or whatever the other guy's name is? He's gone too. All these folks were going to get together and draft this wonderful set of bills and laws or whatever, or they were going to get up and try to, repeal the Smith-Mundt Act or something like that. You know what I mean? You just had this thought that there was just some hope. Well, this kind of stuff right here is why we're all sort of like, meh, because we saw it, in 2016. That's all we heard. We thought that we were going to be vindicated in some way, that as American taxpayers, that as American voters, that as American citizens, we were going to see something change. And it didn't. If anything, it got worse. I remember I called my friend after I had produced this video, and I later took it down because I just thought maybe people wouldn't understand, because maybe it looked like I was just too much, like I was just too, angry at the president. But I called it Drain the Swamp, boo-boo. I called it, and I called Bettina, and I said, Bettina, I said, do you think it was too much? She goes, no, it's great. Run with it. And I pulled back. I ran it for a little bit, and then I pulled back. I don't even know if I have it. I've got to see if I can find it or whatever. But it was called Drain the Swamp, boo-boo. It's exactly a movie, said R. Jones. And so it bothers me when I see these, like you say, movie set type of this movie set type of behavior. And I get a little, I feel a little jaded, because I say, well, you know what, gee whiz, yeah, we do. It's a terrible feeling to have loved to vote like I used to, but now I've learned that it didn't make a bit of difference. Whether I voted or not was of no consequence. It made absolutely no difference. And because it made no difference, and because it really did not have any oomph to it, now it's to the point where, oh, well, big deal. Who cares? It changed it for a second, but nothing got done. And that's the problem. But I'm trying to see if I still have it, because if I do, I would love for you guys to see it. I'm over in my Patreon because that's where I put it, it's called "Drain the Swamp Boo Boo," because I felt like, why are you telling us these things when we sent you there to do one thing and you're not doing it? I got a problem with that. I really do. I have a problem with it. Yeah, it looks like I didn't. It looks like when I deleted it, I deleted it. But I will start to dig around in some of my old stuff to see. But I do. I remember calling her saying, you know what? I just really would like to see some of this stuff get fixed, and none of it got fixed. And so I'm like left with a bad taste in my mouth. So now I think what they're trying to do is to bring this whole argument back up between he and she, and I don't think it's going to work this time. I think it's going to take a whole lot more to fix it. Here's the deal. It doesn't matter what I would have voted for or not. They're going to still put whomever they want to put in there. They're going to still do, and they're going to let you think. They're going to let me think if I were to go back and do it. They would let me think that my vote meant something. And it doesn't, because they still do what they want to do. Let's finish to listen to this last couple of minutes.
It's time that we examine the Section 230 immunity that has enabled these companies to avoid any liability. We must stop these companies from arbitrarily deciding what speech is acceptable for this free country we live in. It has become increasingly clear that these dominant platforms controlling discussion and dialogue are more beholden to cancel culture and not to the fundamentals of free speech principles that this country was founded upon. These big tech companies have few competitors and are immune from liability. These companies are unaccountable to their customers, the courts, and the government. If not for their monopoly power and Section 230 immunity, these companies might not be involved in the actions and censorship that we see today. As a United States Senator and someone who's been vocally outspoken about my concerns with censorship on online platforms, I'll continue to do everything in my power to prevent the censorship of speech and ideas on behalf of my constituents in Iowa and, of course, on all Americans. Simply put, we deserve better than woke monopolists and their liberal lapdogs deciding what we can discuss. I yield the floor.
Thin blue line.
Yeah, but it's not American.
No thin blue line.
That's the new.
Okay. Exactly, R. Jones. Bad actors in a B movie wonder how much they really get paid. You know, like I said the other day, if we just knock their pay down to 35 G's a year, so you get 35K, $35,000 a year, okay? Just 35 grand, that's it. That's all you get. And you can't do any lobbying for any outside companies or groups or organizations. You can't represent anybody, and you cannot while you are in these offices. And again, I think those offices should be for 2 years, no more, 2 years, 3 years max. I think the 2 years they need to be in there, and then at that third year, going into that second year, they get the third year if their constituents vote them back in. So that means that they have a list of what they're supposed to do when they go in there, and then the only way they get to come back in is if their constituents have decided, well, they did everything that was on the list that we sent them there to do. So okay, they're good to go. Now we'll go ahead and give them another year to finish out that third, but if not, we'll rip them out and put somebody else in to finish out their term that's going to get the demands met that we needed met. And then on top of that, of course, the $35,000 a year, you cannot lobby for anybody. You cannot go in one way and come out richer than you were. You have to stay kicking it in your house. So wherever your house is, that's where your house has to be. All right. I don't care what you do. You know what I mean? But if you are truly going to be a citizen of the people, then it really, a representative of the people, then I don't think it matters how much extra money you get. Maybe we'll give them a stipend. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll, buy their groceries or something. And maybe they will give them a ceiling. I don't know. But I do know that this right here ain't working. I know that for sure. I know that without, unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, I know that what's going on right now is not working. And this is not the way that it was supposed to be at all. At all. So, yeah, it's about time that some of them hit the bricks, hit the dust, bite the dust, eat it, bite the weenie, bite the big one. I don't care. Whatever phrase you want to use, it's time for them to get gone. Okay? It's time for them to get gone. Pretty much. So let's go on ahead, now that we were talking about getting gone, to Marcus Aurelius's point. No, it was never meant to be a career. Ever. And for them to go in one way and come out billionaires, I got a problem with that. Yeah, I got a big problem with that. Well, here's news and analysis. Hillary Clinton responds to bombshell report suggesting that Clinton-linked operatives exploited access to Trump servers. Okay? She doesn't look happy right there. Oh, girlfriend. That was that day. That's that purple. They both came out there sporting, looking like Prince background singers, her and her husband. She and her husband that day. They came out. I was just waiting here. Oh, they came out that day and they had on that purple. That's what took him to so long. She probably told her old man, look here. Now, I'm not going to chase you with this cummerbund no more. Oh, boy. I bet you she said, I'm not going to chase you with this cummerbund no more. Okay? I'm not going to have no more of this. That particular day, they came out looking just like. They look like Prince background singers. I was dreaming when I wrote this. Whoo. Okay. Let me stop. But life is like a party. Oh, boy. Whoo. Okay. I don't know where they got that other picture, girlfriend, but that was a picture. So let me get back on over here where I was. But that's where this is taken from. That's where the picture was taken from, okay? Okay? All right. So here it is right here. This is actually a correction of another story. So the correction is a previous version of this article based on an incorrect report stated that the special counsel Durham used the word infiltrate to describe the actions. The Durham filing used the word exploited. The headline has been changed. Two-time failed Democrat. Who wrote this? Oh, boy. Oh, see, I'm going to tell you something. When I do stories, I clean them a lot of times. You'll find that if it has no lead, no link to it, it's because I literally had to take the context of the story and I really literally had to really do it. Take the context and put it in my own words. So therefore it's not theirs, but I take some of these types of things out. But I didn't get a chance to here. So because I have it, I have to definitely let you know that this story comes from the Daily Wire and the writer is Ryan Saavedra. And I will definitely leave a link to this in the description. This is not my story, it's there. So the two-time failed Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton responded this week to an explosive report on special counsel John Durham's criminal investigation into the origins of the FBI's Trump-Russia probe by claiming that the new report was a fake scandal, quote unquote fake scandal. He goes on to say that, quote, Trump and Fox are desperately spinning up a fake scandal to distract from his real one. So it's a day that ends in Y. Okay, so like Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, days. She wrote in a tweet, the more his misdeeds are exposed, the more they lie. For those interested in reality, here is a good debunking for their latest nonsense, closed quote. Durham says in a new court filing that operatives linked Hillary Clinton's failed presidential campaign exploited servers belonging to Trump Tower and Trump White House in an effort to establish, quote, a narrative linking the president, Donald Trump, to Russia. The revelation was made in a court filing last week that centered on the potential conflicts of interest connected to the representation of former Clinton campaign lawyer Michael Sussman, who has been charged with allegedly lying to the FBI. So she was not very happy. She did not appreciate it. She did not like it. She just wanted them to stop it, and they wouldn't stop it. And so because they wouldn't stop it, she had to go, pull out her denture grip, her whatever, and she had to come on out and she had to let them know she wasn't having it today. No, she was not having it. So she took to her Twitter account. She let them know, you know what? Don't forget, I'm the gangster up in this place. She turned into Biggie Smalls. She turned into Smalls quick. She said, look at here, let me let y'all know, ain't nobody playing with y'all. Don't forget, I am who I am. Y'all know me. She wanted everybody to know she is that gangster. And so she went in and she's made a couple of visits I seen, pretty much all over the place. So I don't know if she and Mr. Naranga are going to have another rumble in the jungle. I don't know. They might. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if the voters can take it. I really don't, because what's left of him? I mean, he's pretty much showed everything. However, I have got to tell you that he does have a pretty big turnout. He does. He has a huge turnout every time he comes out. All right. So let's just see. This is her. Let's go ahead and check it out here. Let's see what we got going on. All right. Can you see that? I don't think you can see that yet. Hold on. Let me let you see that. Let me let you see this. All right. I got her right here. So let's say, is she going to be inflicted? Is she going to be inflicted on me the rest of my life? You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I just got through thinking about that when it comes down to the queen. I said, this lady has outlived some relatives. There have been people who have been born, lived a whole life, and died, and that lady is still in office. What's she doing to this baby? What is going on here? What in the affirmative action is she doing to this child? What is she doing? Okay. So there's nothing here. She hasn't said much, but let's see if she has any tweets and replies. Let's see. This is her right here. Okay. All right. Join me in a conversation. Okay. What is this? Okay, let's see what she, forget it. I really don't want to hear anything she has to say. The person that's probably a little easier to listen to is this guy. Although it's okay. I was waiting to see if maybe she responded. I wanted to see the tweets where she responded. But I don't see those tweets where she responded. I really don't. Suffering succotash. Let me get off this lady's page. Gotta clean my mic. Okay, let's see. Let me go back over here. Let's go back to StreamYard, and then let's just get rid of her. Can't take it anymore. I got the chills. Okay, anyway. All right, you guys. It's been about an hour and 9 minutes since I've been over here yakking and chatting. This is where I'm going to be, okay? Headlines with a Voice will only have 1 minute, 2 minute videos now. It's just 1 minute, 2 minutes, hit it and quit it. Because I know a lot of people only like that for that reason. So we're going to just keep it the way that it was. 1 minute, hit it and quit it. My sister had it and it was working. Now everybody knows who we are. Whenever we go over there to join the party, they can join with us over there whenever we go. Okay, so no more lives over there. You want to see lives, that come over here. All right? You want to see lives, come over here. Yeah, I got to clean it. I got to clean it because I said her name. Okay, and then I got to wash my eyeballs out. So Let's lay it down. Y'all want to see me on Friday nights, on Friday. I'm gonna be here. Saturday night is live. I'm gonna be here. Talking about anything political, it's gonna be right here. Having anything dealing with the entertainment world, you gotta come over here. 1 minute videos, very short. Hit it, quit it, that's it. That's gonna be Headlines with a Voice. And everything that is ministry, that's going to be on the Lockhart Perspective. So share it in the YouTube streets. Let everybody know where we're going to be. Tomorrow night, we're going to be right back over here. We're going to be right back over here tomorrow night, because tomorrow night is Saturday Night is Live. And we will hopefully have some guests come on and join us. Still looking for a co-host. I wasn't joking. I still need a co-host. I don't know who it is, but I'm going to need one. I'm going to need one. So let's take a quick look and see what's going on this week in the fam. Here we are. Okay. Here is the fam. Here is the Lockhart Perspective. What do we got? What do we have? Tell them what they won, Bink. Bink. Let's see what they... Tell them what they won, Bink. All right, so we've got our uploads. We've got our, here come our here. Looky. Look at that. So do you see all of the upcoming stuff? Oh. So the Lockhart Perspective is going to be busy. We've got Sunday dinner scheduled for this coming Sunday. And then we've got our Monday, Wednesday, Friday reading of the Word. It's back at 3 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, and my producer helped me sit down, and we did this today. So he and I sat down, got it all together, got everything organized, put all the stuff back in a box, because like I normally do when I'm looking for something, I can come in a room and tear it up. He helped me fix it. So we fixed it. Yes, he did. And then he said, now, you know what? Don't have me have to help again with this. It shouldn't be required. Okay? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, okay, so now don't do it again. I said, yes, sir, no problem. So it's going to stay this way. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're back to having the Word over on the Lockhart Perspective. This coming Sunday, we have Sunday dinner, and it's scheduled for 4 o'clock. All right. Now, let's see. On TLP Headlines with a Voice, do we have anything else coming up? See here? Listen, Wendy got locked out of her Wells Fargo account. Did you guys know that? Did anybody see that? Did you know that? Okay, so that's the type of stuff that's going to be over here. We'll do politics. We'll do all of that stuff. Okay? And then tomorrow night, oh no, what happened to the upcoming? Let's go and see. Let's go and see. Upcoming. All right, here we go. What do we got here? Tomorrow night, we have Saturday Night is Live. That's over here. All right? That's over here. And then when it comes to the coffee, all the coffee is over here. Yep, all the coffee is over here. I don't understand what this is I've got going on, but let's just take a look at this. So all the coffee shows in the morning are all over here. I'm going to show this screen to you right here. All right, let me go. There you go. All right, so now I can see where I am. All right, so this is my schedule. It's my back office, my schedule. This is where we are right this second. All right? So all the coffee and jazz is right here on the channel that we're on. So in the morning at 9 o'clock, this is where we'll be. I'm telling you. He laid it out. He laid it all out. And he said, now, don't have me have to help you with this again, because you know this is how it's supposed to stay. And I don't know how you got off on a totally different tangent, but you did. He's very, very mild-mannered, very mild-spoken, but he's serious. Okay, so this is where we are right here. Sunday dinner is going to be on the Lockhart Perspective, and then all of these right here, cafe, coffee, jazz, and Fifi, we have them all the way here. All of these, okay? Saturday Night Live is tomorrow night at 8 p.m. So this is where the party's at, all right? Anthony. Oh, yes, he would be. You know he would be, because, listen, I do a show. I'm on a show with him. On occasion, he invites me. to come out with him. And you'd like to? Okay, you pretty radical? All right. You see, media say they a little radical. Okay. All you got to do is hit me up at Felicia at FeliciaLockhart.com. Felicia at FeliciaLockhart.com. Hit me up. Let's chat. But I think that Anthony would be excellent. I have to see if he's busy tomorrow, because it would be great if he could come on. Specifically because he's got the firsthand scoop, right? He's got the scoop firsthand for us. And he's given us a couple of good videos already. And he's also supplied some more videos today. So, yeah, I think that he would be great. Oh, hi. Is that who this is? Hey, is Soldier for Christ here? Or are you Soldier for Christ? Aw. If that's you, I know who you are. I know who you are. Very good. Yes. So, yes, I think that will be excellent. So we're going to have a lot of fun over here. It's a really small house over here. Yes, I know. Wouldn't that be good, Marty? I think that would be good. Yes. So this is where the party's going to be at. We're at a smaller house over here, so that's cool. It's only 377 of us, and I'd like for all 377 someday to all be on the chat at the same time. Well, that would be great. Wouldn't it be, Marcus? Copy that, my lady. Gotta go. Mac out. Okay, Mac out. So we'll be back here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Time. Saturday night is live, and we're going to have a really good time. Tomorrow night, we will be on the screen. We will be on the screen. Your help is headed your way. Wow, help is headed your way. Yeah, girl. I'm telling you, R. Jones. I'm telling you. All right, y'all. I love each and every one of you guys. And know what we always say on any of the Felicia Lockhart publications, that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. Until we see each other again, you guys, please continue to be blessed. Take care of yourselves and take care of one another. Oh, hey, 12 Barn. Oh, so sorry you missed it. Aw. Yeah, we've been here for about an hour. But I tell you what, tomorrow night you might want to come and join us, because we are doing Saturday Night is Live, and that's when we cut up a bit. Just a bit. Not much, just a bit. All right, y'all. Take care. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Lockhart perspective.